how the off-campus cast landed their roles, and it's wilder than you think. Picture this. A 19-year-old girl is about to give up acting entirely to go finish her exams and start college like a normal teenager, and 1 month later, she's the biggest new face on Prime Video with strangers screaming her character's name on the street. That is not a movie plot. That is literally what happened to the star of Off Campus, and honestly, the entire casting story behind this show reads like its own hidden season nobody wrote. Stick around, because we are diving into exactly how this cast came together, the audition twists nobody saw coming, and why one actor almost got a completely different role before fate stepped in and rewrote the whole thing. Let's start with Ella Bright, the actress who plays Hannah Wells, because her story alone sounds like something out of a Hallmark movie script doctor ejected for being too unbelievable. Bright was actually on the verge of stepping away from acting to focus on her final exams and move on to college life, like any other British teenager. Think of it like standing at a fork in the road, where one path leads to lecture halls and the other leads to Hollywood, except she genuinely thought she was choosing the lecture hall. She decided to squeeze in one last audition before closing that chapter for good, and within a matter of weeks, her entire life flipped upside down. She booked the lead role, put college plans on pause, and suddenly found herself the face of one of the most talked about shows of the year. Talk about a plot twist Elle Kennedy herself couldn't have written better. Now here's where the story gets even juicier, because landing Hannah wasn't some solo audition in a quiet room. The casting team brought in dozens of actors, more than 24 by some counts, to test chemistry live against Belmont Cameli, the actor who plays hockey star Garrett Graham. Imagine speed dating, except instead of finding a romantic partner, producers are hunting for on-screen sparks that can carry an entire streaming series. Both Bright and Cameli have said the moment they read together, it was obvious something clicked, the kind of chemistry you simply cannot fake or coach into existence. It's the difference between two actors reciting lines at each other versus two actors actually reacting to one another, and apparently, everyone in that room felt the shift the second it happened. But hold on, because the real drama isn't just about who got cast, it's about who almost got cast into the wrong role entirely. Mika Abdallah, who plays the fiery and lovable Ali, originally auditioned for the lead role of Hannah. And by her own admission, she knew almost instantly it wasn't the right fit, and apparently so did everyone else in the room. That's like showing up to try out for point guard and realizing halfway through the tryout that you're actually built to dominate as a power forward instead. Rather than getting cut entirely, producers saw something special in her and brought her back for Ali, a character that fit her energy far more naturally. Sometimes getting rejected from one role is actually the universe redirecting you toward the one you were always supposed to play. And Abdallah wasn't the only one who got redirected. Stephen Kalin, who plays Dean, initially read for a completely different character named Logan, a role that ultimately went to his now co-star Antonio Cipriano. Kalin has openly admitted that once he saw how the casting shook out, it made total sense why Logan wasn't his lane, because Dean fit him like a glove that was custom-tailored from the start. It's honestly wild to think about how many alternate versions of this show almost existed, a universe where the actors were shuffled into completely different roles, and yet somehow the casting gods landed on exactly the right combination. What makes this whole casting saga so fascinating is how it mirrors the actual heart of the show itself, because Off Campus isn't just about one central romance, it's about an entire ensemble of friendships, rivalries, and relationships weaving together. Bright herself pointed out that during those chemistry reads, producers weren't just testing the romantic leads, they were essentially testing the entire hockey team and friend group as a unit, almost like assembling a sports team where every position needs the right player to make the whole formation work. One mismatched piece, and the entire dynamic could have collapsed before a single episode was filmed. And let's not forget the almost surreal fan reaction that followed. Bright has described how, almost immediately after casting news broke, random strangers were already recognizing her and hyping her up before the show even premiered, which is a level of instant recognition most actors wait years for. The show has since become one of the most watched debuts on the entire platform, proving that whatever alchemy happened in that casting room absolutely paid off in a massive way. So the next time you are binge-watching Off Campus and swooning over Hannah and Garrett's chemistry, just remember, none of it was guaranteed. One actor almost quit acting entirely, another almost played the wrong lead, and a third barely missed out on a completely different character. Sometimes the best on-screen magic comes from behind-the-scenes chaos nobody expected. Ella Bright and Belmont Cameli's chemistry off-camera, off-campus, and immediately started Googling whether Hannah and Garrett are secretly dating in real life. You are absolutely not alone. The on-screen sparks between Ella Bright and Belmont Cameli have been so electric that fans everywhere have been convinced there simply had to be something happening behind the cameras too. Stick around because we are digging into what these two co-stars have actually said about their relationship, why the chemistry felt so real from day one, and why fans might want to pump the brakes on those shipping fantasies. Quick favor, if you are loving this, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell to keep getting the latest updates on all things celebrity and entertainment. Thanks. Now back to the show. Let us start right at the very beginning because according to both actors, the connection was instant, and we mean instant. During an appearance on the Today Show, Cameli revealed that out of roughly 28 actors auditioning that day, it became readily apparent the moment he and Bright performed their chemistry test together that something special was happening. Bright echoed the sentiment, describing the interaction as awesome and explaining that the scene felt genuinely real from the very first read. It is a bit like meeting someone at a party and instantly clicking so well that everyone around you starts whispering about how you two must have known each other for years, except in this case, the whispering came from an entire casting room full of industry professionals. Now, here's where the story starts building some serious intrigue, because that instant chemistry translated directly onto the screen, and viewers absolutely noticed. Once Off Campus premiered, audiences fell head over heels for Hannah and Garrett's fake dating turned genuine romance storyline, and naturally, the internet did what the internet always does, immediately speculating that the real-life spark must be just as authentic as the fictional one. Social media quickly filled with fan theories, dramatic frame-by-frame breakdowns of lingering eye contact, and even wild claims about matching jewelry, supposedly hinting at a secret real-life romance. It is a bit like watching two co-workers who genuinely get along professionally, then having the entire office convince itself they must be secretly dating purely because they laugh at each other's jokes a little too easily. But here's the twist that deflates the entire shipping fantasy almost instantly, because Belmont Cameli has actually been in a committed relationship the entire time. He has been coupled up off-camera with girlfriend Raina Morris since at least early 2025, and rather than hiding that relationship, Cameli has been fairly open about it, even subtly including her in his own social media posts. So while fans were busy manifesting a real-life Hannah and Garrett romance, Cameli was going home to a girlfriend who, according to Bright herself, has become one of her closest friends in the process. It is a bit like shipping two reality show contestants together, only to discover one of them has actually been married the entire time. Awkward for the fantasy, but honestly kind of wholesome once you learn the full story. And speaking of setting the record straight, Bright herself has directly addressed the dating rumors on multiple occasions, making her feelings about the situation crystal clear. During an appearance on a popular entertainment podcast, she practically laughed off the suggestion, essentially describing the idea as strange since Cameli genuinely feels like family to her at this point. She has also been vocal about their off-screen friendship being built primarily on comfort, professionalism, and simply spending countless hours together during incredibly long filming days. Bright described Cameli as the best, someone she quickly connected with after they exchanged numbers during their initial chemistry reads, adding that their bond went far beyond simply being scene partners reading lines off a script. It is a bit like becoming genuinely close friends with someone purely through shared circumstances, similar to bonding intensely with co-workers during an especially demanding project, except in this case, the demanding project happened to involve millions of viewers watching their every scene. Now, let us also address something Bright has been refreshingly candid about, because their on-screen intimacy has occasionally sparked conversation regarding their real-life age gap, with Bright being 19 years old while Cameli sits nearly a decade older. Rather than avoiding the topic, Bright addressed it directly, explaining that filming felt professional and comfortable from the very beginning, crediting the entire production team for creating an environment where both actors felt genuinely supported throughout their more intimate scenes together. It is a refreshing level of transparency in an industry where these kinds of conversations often get quietly avoided altogether. So, where does this leave the ongoing fascination with Bright and Camelli's relationship? At the end of the day, their chemistry, while completely genuine, appears to be built on authentic friendship and professional respect rather than any hidden real-life romance simmering beneath the surface. It is proof that sometimes the most convincing on-screen love stories come not from actors secretly dating, but simply from two performers who trust each other enough to fully commit to the story they are telling together. As Off Campus heads into its highly anticipated second season, do not be surprised if that same undeniable chemistry keeps fueling fan theories, even while both stars continue gently reminding everyone that some of the best on-screen romances are simply the result of incredible acting and genuine friendship. Thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.